Music is getting me in the mood. Buy some action figures. Feeling it. It's ThursdAGE. On today's program, we're going to basically do a deep dive into Technofantasy. We've talked about it. You've heard our friend Malcolm pop in and share details of the past. We've got a blog post that was up talking about hours in Fantasy Age, and we got a link to that in the show notes if you want to check that out. The music is loud. Let's make fix that right now. Because I just want to play that hook just all show long. How's that? Yeah, right. It does sort of feel like that. Yeah, there's definitely a Sega Genesis vibe there. You know what? Let me turn myself up. I never ever hear that I'm too quiet. All better? Okay, good. Thanks, Duke. Excellent. Well, now that we've got our audio all dialed in, still hot. But the music's hot, or I'm hot? I mean, I know I'm hot, but Nate, let me know when you hear this. What's hot? Just the topic. The music. Okay. We'll drop it a couple more notches, but we're going to be turning it off here in just a moment because we don't need music where we're going, because we're going to hang out with our good pal, your swordsman and mine, Mr. Monfrere. That's me vamping, trying to find this. There you are, friend. Welcome to the program, Malcolm.
Why, Troy, I was just staring off into the distance.
Oh, were you? I like it. I like it a lot. I picked this music special because you happen to tap into like one of those energies of my childhood that I love. Just that this Technofantasy, all of this is shades of my every Saturday morning cartoon, my after school cartoons, my, the whole experience.
Mm-hmm. And that is, in fact, one of the listed inspirations.
Well, very nice. It's like we're on theme. I love it.
Yes.
Mal Shep. That's not a nickname that we like. Let's see. As far as folks in the audience, I want to say hello to the chat. We've got lots of folks who are hanging in there listening. Swan Mace is going to be the one place not affected by technical problems. Space. Yeah, exactly. Duke says, ain't that all our nostalgia? No, just mine.
Doesn't Tim Curry have something like that to say about space?
Yeah. Tim Curry?
Oh, no, that's about communism. Or the one place that hasn't been sullied by capitalism.
Is communism or space?
It's space.
Oh.
Space.
Yeah. I was just talking about Tim Curry just last night. What an actor that guy was. I mean, I'm thinking of him in Legend.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so let's talk about this. This program is all about
Wait. I have something about Legend to say, though. The one thing that bugs me about Legend, don't worry, I got away back into the conversation.
I love
is that at one point, Darkness talks about the unicorn horn like an antenna reaching up to heaven.
Yeah.
Right? What does he know about a freaking radio antenna?
Oh, that's
but in Technofantasy, that would not be an anachronism.
I got you.
You could indeed have, a supernatural evil creature ranting about antennae or antennas.
Sure.
Is it antennas when it's a radio tower and antennae when it's an insect?
I don't know. That's a good question. We'll have to ask chat. Chat, do a little research. Is it antennae when it's, a bug and not when it's, an array of antenna?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so, okay, let's not talk about that. I want to hear about the origins of Technofantasy. Like, I want to, let's get into the inspiration and talk a little bit about what it is, like what people are going to be seeing on Tuesday, 11/19.
Oh, yes. Tuesday, 11/19. That's when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Well, on Tuesday, 11/19, that's next Tuesday. Yes, we're coming out with Technofantasy. Technofantasy has that tagline, Science Fantasy Adventures After the Fall. It is very exciting to return to this territory because, as some of you know, we had a major setting for the first edition of Fantasy Age called Titan's Grave. And unfortunately, our time with Titan's Grave has reached its conclusion. However, we have a bunch of cool stuff in that genre mashup here to,
scratch
to
that
kind of
itch.
also work toward that vibe. And among those things are things like robots, robots as companions and robots as foes, gadgeteering, or a system we call tinkering. We have some revised and expanded magic. We have a diverse array of technological items, as well as magical items, including ray guns, and how ray guns are integrated into your standard set of classes, how technology is integrated into magic or how it isn't. There are a bunch of stunts, including class stunts, that are linked to technology. So for example, if you ever remember, any old Star Trek episode or old science fiction thing where, someone talks a computer into not being able to function properly.
Sure. Yeah.
Logically. Well, that is a new Envoy stunt that you can
Hey, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, I love doing that. And what else? There's a ton of stuff. There's a whole bunch of adversaries that fit the theme, that have technological inspirations. There is cyberware that has a bit more of a casual system than the one that's in Cyberpunk Slice for Modern Age, right? Because Cyberpunk Slice is really for more hardcore transhuman cyberpunk stuff, right? Whereas, if you want to be a cool dude with a cool metal arm, right? This is more in your lane, right? It's more straightforward.
No,
right?
so the premise is you are in the post-apocalyptic future.
Yes.
Space, not in space, but in that space.
The idea is that you choose a fall or cataclysm, and that is what creates the setting as it is. Whether or not the setting had magic beforehand or not, we're ambiguous about, right? Think of it, this is kind of like, how, all right, when you play a fantasy role-playing game, you'd assume that you are, there are some basic assumptions, and those assumptions include having elves and dwarves around. I'm talking about like a general, classic fantasy RPG, right?
Yeah.
And there are dungeons, and people have swords, and there are wizards, and maybe there are thieves guilds and things like that. So we have what's called an implied setting. So nobody's talking about like towns or political factions or things like this, but we have a basic idea of the shape of it.
Yeah.
And this provides an alternative shape for your game. And that shape assumes the presence of high technology and that, and that there was once a greater, more technologically impressive age, right? And that is to, essentially stock your dungeons. And it just, we incorporate all the classic fantasy stuff. So, you can be an elf, right? Or a dwarf, and and you can be a mage, right? Magic exists in techno-fantasy games. It's just that we add additional options.
Yeah.
To support this idea of this, technology-soaked post-apocalyptic environment where you have things like ray guns. And we have, of course, new talents and some cool new specializations to support that, and also to sort of work back to our inspiration. So, for example, ages ago, we actually kind of secretly previewed this book by showing off one of the specializations, the icon.
Yeah.
Right? So the icon is basically, your toy-based Saturday morning cartoon protagonist.
Now, folks, you're going to want to also make sure to check out the show notes. I'll drop a link as well to the Ronin Round Table article on this, and it's really it's a hoot.
Yeah, and so of course the icon has special trappings and special abilities that are sort of embedded stunts that have to do when taking on their more, shall we say, toyetic identity, right?
Toyetic, I like that. Well, so we're going to get into the nuts and bolts.
So, like He-Man.
So we've got lots of questions. Yeah, let me get it here. Let's see.
Well, probably more like the recent Kevin Smith He-Man. I was really impressed with that. Was anybody else super impressed with that? I was not a big He-Man guy. Like,
is that Kevin Smith from Singles? That guy? No, it's not Singles. It's Kevin Smith, like with the Burnout guy, and they were like two nerds that hung out together. And
that guy.
One.
The Clerks guy.
Clerks. That's what I was trying to think of. Was it.
Well, he show ran, wrote. I think that was his role. Right. These two Master of the Universe limited series. I think there's a third one coming out, and they are excellent.
Yeah,
and they are weirdly like. I think what a lot of smart people who are coming to these big intellectual properties are doing is they're realizing that as the fans get older, they have, let's say they have overly kind or very generous memories of their past experiences. And so I think smart creators, what they do is they write to the nostalgia, and they also age up the storytelling, right?
They do a little redemption of the quality I'm imagining. Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels like the story has grown with them, and it doesn't, undermine their appreciation for it. Whereas, I'm sure everyone of a certain age has gone back and, looked at something from their childhood they're very fond of, and it's been awful. So So this is just the good parts combined with ye old gritty reboot elements, although not so gritty, more like differently fantastical.
It is
even making sense now. Who knows?
It's a little dangerous when you think about it. It's not a job that I would want, because I know that, like, you think about how even when they've done comics, so when they transition people from the comics to, the cinematic universe, they've really donked up some of them, but it's good to hear that that's great, and good to hear that it's an inspiration. We've got some questions and some comments. So Nate Robbins says, so it could be Logan's run after 100 years. And then Jason Sunday says, so like Thundar, he did drop an R because it's Thundar, but we get you. Is the answer to both those questions yes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
In fact, we have rules for vehicles now, like rules for post-apocalyptic rules for vehicles. Back for the previous edition of Fantasy Age, there were some rules like that in the companion. So those rules, however, because the basic rules in second edition that the vehicle rules would plug into are different, we've sort of revised and updated vehicle rules. So there's a new set of vehicle rules.
Nice.
So you can indeed, be driving some sort of like futuristic super truck, or you could be, or you could have a war wagon type of deal.
Right. You could Mad Max it with some magic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's awesome. So Tempo asks, there's the He-Man and She-Ra influence, which I assume will be in Technofantasy, but will there be some Final Fantasy Magitech as well?
Not really, because I don't know Final Fantasy very well.
Fair enough. So the answer could be yes.
Yes. But you know what? There's a lot. Certainly, like, if you want to add stuff from those inspirations, like, absolutely do it.
Yes.
In your own games. That's super cool, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it was funny because let me roll back here. Swan May said, "So what I'm hearing is that I can officially cancel my Fantasy Star conversion project." Uh, could you?
maybe, maybe I never played that. I never
Oh,
played
I
Phantasy
see.
Star.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's see. There's a couple other things I want to. Duke says the shape is exact. The shape of this is exactly that of the hole in his heart, which is great. Either we stole it from that space, or we've got something to fill up the emptiness. And then he says, mixing tech and magic right in front of my prophet. Mimetic gravy. David Bullock says. By the powers of Grayskull, Tempo says, yeah, Kevin Smith is great. I'm going to check out that He-Man for sure. Let's see here. I refuse to accept Galaxy Rangers as aged poorly. Fair enough.
Listen, for me, that experience was with Robotech. I went back and I rewatched Robotech, which I am quite fond of, and I'm quite fond of the Macross franchise. It holds a special place in my heart, and my God, the fact that I didn't have to be Clockwork Orange into watching that was a minor miracle. The fact that it was just fueled entirely by my nostalgia, that I grit my teeth through it.
This is well, okay, so Temple says please don't make it overtly bloody, dark, and edgy. Well, it's made already.
Yeah, and it's not.
And you can bring your idealism and optimism. That's fine.
Yeah.
We need it. We're all out.
It's more that that's something that you can bring into it, and that, because we, like, one of the benefits we have as, RPG people, is that, we can take a wider view and we can talk directly about those things, right? Yeah. So instead of trying to encode a very special message about something, like, we'll just talk about it in the GM material.
Nice.
Right. Yeah. So how you implement that is entirely up to you. Right. Like, this isn't a campaign setting. So there are no powerful NPCs or factions or anything like that, that you have to be mindful of somehow, or that impose a certain tone. Right. What I'm saying is that you can impose the tone. Right. And you can dial it forward or back if you want. Right. Like, if you want it to be if you want to lean right into, what we used to watch between sugary cereal and toy ads, right, where you talk very explicitly about evil, right? You can do that if you want. I'm just saying that you don't have to.
I love it. Here's a quick question: if you take Technofantasy and you mix it with a dash of Blue Rose, do you get Thundercats?
No, because you would need feline wild folk from Fantasy Age.
Okay, got you. I see. I love it. I was thinking of a sentient telepathic, cat-like beast, but awesome. I love it. Thundercats.
Except for Snarf, I guess you need.
Yeah, what was Snarf?
Ride-on for Snarf.
Yeah.
But what was Snarf like?
I don't know.
Was Snarf he was sort of like a kind of feline, but also kind of lizard-like.
Yeah. What was Orko? Orko was just a.
I don't know what Orko was, but
like a race of a sentient pet. They say Snarf is a riding. That's what I was thinking, dude. Yeah. No, it's interesting. Orko, it never really made sense to me. I've got a little Orko that I every once in a while I'll twist him up and he'll go coasting around the house. But it's interesting. But I know you. We want to talk about. Let me add this to the stage.
You could use the Kevin Smith He-Man with the inspiration with this, because like one of the themes of that Master of the Universe thing that's on Netflix, at least is here, is cosmic horror, right? It's quite interesting, like, because if anybody remembers this, Skeletor acquires the power, right? and uses it to expand his vision to include the entire universe, right? And shows it to Evil Lyn and has a conversation about how, like, from this vast perspective, I can tell now that life is completely meaningless, that there's no structure, truth to the cosmos, blah, blah, blah.
It's all just...
Evil Lyn's mind kind of breaks. Skeletor's already insane.
Right.
They come back. Evil Lyn mentions this to Beastman, and Beastman goes, I don't think people should be looking at the universe like that.
Right, and that skunky smelling one. Was that Beastman? Was he the skunky smelling one?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what Beastman is supposed to smell like in the lore.
Well, in the real world, he smelled kind of like patchouli. Like he had a kind of a patchouli-ish odor. But it was, or maybe it was Mossman. I don't know. But I did love me some He-Man action figures.
Just a demon on the hacky sack too, I bet.
And I'd imagine. So this is, I want to read some of this stuff because we got answers. Orko was an other dimensional wizard, a Trollon from another dimension.
That's right. He's a Trollon.
There we go. And Rain says you can get a good Final Fantasy vibe with this supplement if you make it mostly utilized by the high-tech villains, Garleans from Final Fantasy, judges,
Like you can use these rules to make airships and things. And, I don't know. I kind of wish that I had done, a Buster Sword type thing now that it's mentioned. Although there's a new weapon called a Grav Hammer that's kind of like that.
Oh, nice.
The idea is like it's this giant mallet, but the anti-gravity technology means that it's very light, right?
Yeah.
It only turns its mass restriction off on impact. Right?
Got you.
So it's basically so that you can, play a small person with a giant hammer if you want.
I dig it. I see what you're saying. Yes, I follow. Stinkor, okay, got you. That's right. David Bullock, you smoked my flocking. Love it. So everyone's some excitement about the Gravy Hammer, and also mention of She-Ra too. Yeah, I did watch some of the newer She-Ra. Which I enjoyed it. And let's see. It says, this sounds like something my setting needed and you folks provided. Thank you. You're very welcome. Here we've got up the PDF. Should we get crunchy? Shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's look at it.
All right. Awesome. Great artwork. Let's go. There's our cast of contributors. Look at that. That's great. I love the art. All right, so this is kind of what we've been talking about. This is the bit of information that is also in the show notes and also will come with the book when you buy it on Tuesday. Let's do it. Okay, so where do we want to start? Is it a little hard to see?
No, I can see it fine.
Okay, good.
So, it's a table of contents. So, those of you who have experience getting these sort of mid-sized supplements from us, like the structure is very similar, right? Where we start with the character options in chapter 1 and and that's the introduction there. So if you want to zip it down to right down to chapter 1 there.
Chapter 1.
Yes. Right after this one. Yes.
There we go.
So, we have new and expanded ancestries, like it says. So we have some ancestries where we've kind of said that the fall created some, cultural splits and things like that. So we have greensmith dwarves.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Who do work with plants and growing things.
Are they just growing? Are they just like tending to plants, or do they have some plant-based sort of powers?
These are like basically these are the same as standard ancestries, except that the benefits table is altered a bit.
I
because they come from a different culture. The same with the Gormwind elves, who are they're seafaring nomads. and we have makerkin gnomes, and that is something that is going to seem very familiar because we have the modern, the very modern mythology of gnomes being, technologically adept. So we just leaned into it in that case, right?
Okay.
Because standard Fantasy Age gnomes aren't like explicitly like that. And we have, and we have also an alternative orc faction who are kind of more ascetic nomads. And then we have the reintroduction of the Orion, who again, you might remember from the first edition of Fantasy Age. And these are essentially robots with souls, right?
Oh,
who
okay.
have, who have the supernatural elements of life, right? But they are machines, right? Including some guidelines for playing someone of mixed Orion ancestry,
Okay,
right?
interesting.
In the terms of the rebuilt. So these are people who, they had some catastrophe or they wanted to change their bodies with machines, right? So
Interesting.
so Orion are quite interesting. They really sort of meet their proper setting here.
Yeah.
And the Vestmore orcs, who are the orcs that I referred to, but if you zip along. And we have Saurians, which is, of course, something I quite like, dinosaur people. Right?
Yeah. You guys. And you know what's so funny is you did warn people that lizard men were. Right. Okay, cool. Very cool. So talk to me about these lizard peeps.
They have the things that are distinctive about them is that they seem to have had some some compatibility with high technology, but they also draw upon their ancestral memories. And so for the Orion and the Saurians, for the two Ians, one of the things that's new in Fantasy Age Second Edition is the Ancestry Secrets talents, where you can sort of lean further into your ancestry. So the Orion and Saurians both have that. For the Orions, you gain sort of more, machine type benefits, and for the Saurians, you reach back into your dinosaurian heritage, right? So we have, new backgrounds.
Yeah.
A small number of new focuses. We didn't want to get wacky with those. And we have a bunch of talents.
Yeah. Alchemical brewing.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the Orient secrets. There we go. Interesting. Metal render.
Yeah, that is somebody who specializes at wrecking technology.
Oh, hey. So this is kind of a Nicole Lindrus.
Oh.
Having seen, everybody even on stream has witnessed the technology dampening powers. That's breathtaking.
Yeah.
Okay, salvage. What are some high points? Okay, Saurian secrets. I like that. These guys are cool looking. And did I see too that there are versions of them that have like feathers and things?
Well, I like them to have feathers because I think our refusal to put feathers on dinosaurs in popular culture is cowardice. Cowardice.
Yes, we are. Yeah. Right? Why are we afraid of it?
It's one of the two things where like it seems like our generation, Gen X, is like actively holding back popular science. Right. Yeah. I'm not talking about the big ways where some of us somehow think the earth is flat now.
I don't even. What is wrong with us?
But things like not having feathers on dinosaurs. Well, there were feathers on dinosaurs, and the other thing is that the Milky Way keeps getting portrayed as a spiral galaxy instead of a barred spiral galaxy, which we now know it is.
Yeah.
Even the second Cosmos series. Oh, what is the name? Even Neil deGrasse Tyson's Cosmos sort of like headshits bets on that, and I was really peeved. That's what you want to hear about, audience, right? Is my very small edge case concerns with popular science communication, right?
Well, I think it helps us understand a little bit of how you work. Here's a quick question. Don White says,
very generous of you.
Is Technofantasy going to be an entire book or a slice book like Cyberpunk was?
It's a slice book.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's a slice book. Anyway, do you want to keep going? I want to get to specializations.
Yes. How about these?
Yeah. So Amulet Master, I'll go through them really quick. Amulet Master, you can make short-lived magic items and use them yourself and give them to other people.
Cool.
Athlete,
Wait, that's really cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Not athlete. I mean, I don't know what that's about, but the being able to create a magic item for someone you're with, or I love that. Okay.
Yeah. Athlete, you excel at physical activities and gain fame from them. And this may seem weird for post-apocalyptic stuff, but if you have ever seen The Blood of Heroes or Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome and the titular Thunderdome, right? Yeah. You'll know. Right, the Bataria Mancer, that is a mage who is capable of converting battery power to magical power and vice versa.
Very cool. Well, gosh, that leads to a lot of different cool things you can probably do. Blaster Master,
the Blaster Master, who does not gain the ability to sit on top of a much larger person, but in fact is very good at using a ray gun.
I see. With a nod to an iconic. Yeah.
There's, I am a hypocrite because I often remove puns that freelancers include. So, Cyber Soldier. So you are improved combative cyborg.
Cool. I like that. That's awesome. Wow, that's awesome. Dig it.
An Aromancer, and that is a mage who specializes in manipulating the power of the wastelands, of post-apocalyptic wastelands.
Oh, right. Are you tapping into just sort of this? Yeah. Like the nature of it all, or the nuclear?
Well, you can basically you can squeeze the magical energy out of those places. That is normally, not especially accessible. We have the Icon, which again is our Masters of the Universe kind of like Saturday morning cartoon heroic identity specialization.
Cool.
Crewmaster. Crewmaster. So that is being, basically being a post-apocalyptic organizer, right? Like, a bad version of this would be like, someone running a cult or acting as a warlord,
I see. Okay.
Basically if you want to be a post-apocalyptic leader organizer type, you take this one.
Nice. Okay. I see that. Very cool.
Mutant. You have mutations.
Oh, okay.
You get more mutations over time because mutations are cool.
Gotcha. So these mutations are cellular. They're like, what does that mean? Like, can I just grow an arm?
Well, yeah, you can grow an arm.
Cool.
There's a whole list of mutations.
Awesome.
That belong to different tiers, right?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So if we go down there, Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So there's a bunch of them.
So these are all the mutations that you can.
Yeah.
Very cool. Nictating membranes. I don't know why that has a bad mouthfeel.
But nictitating?
Nictitating membranes together, and even nictitating on its own. What does nictitating mean?
It refers to the inner eyelids that a lot of species have. In humans, we have vestiges of it, but we can't close them. We just have like a couple of bands of tissue.
Gotcha. Like cats have that.
Like cats have it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gross. Nice. This is cool. Insulating fur. Okay. Yeah. So you can get real creative with this.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. You can kind of build your mutations kind of over time as you get the talent.
I like that. Yeah,
degrees cool. And such.
It's like, let me show you my mutations. All right, these are more mutations. Venom gland. I need one of those.
Yeah.
Ruin Raider pilot.
Yeah. Pilot. It means you can operate a technological vehicle really well. Ruin Raider.
Yeah.
You are good at. You're good at sneaking around and dealing with the dangers of post-apocalyptic ruins.
Gotcha. Sort of an Indiana Jones in the future.
Yes.
Dig it. And let's scroll down a little bit to tech stunts.
Yes, and equipment. So when you're interacting with high technology, you can use tech stunts. And there are two types of tech stunts. There are general ones anybody can use, and then there are ones that are class stunts that you acquire like other class stunts.
Got it. Very cool.
Yeah. So the mage one is basically screw you technology. The rogue one is this is a bomb now.
Boom. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Warrior is I'm just going to hold this robot between me and the other robot. And the envoy one is, of course, the one I was talking about, where
short out the computer by giving it the thing it should never think about.
Yeah. So
nice. Okay.
And then if we, move on, we have a bunch of equipment. We have rules for the batteries that power everything. New weapons, armor, and shields.
Nice. Excuse me. Armor modifications.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this? New weapon descriptions. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we've got blasters and
brawling, dueling.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, I wanted to basically make sure there was at least one weapon for each.
Nice
group, or as close as I could get. And we have rules for modifying weapons.
Cool.
We have ye old blaze sword as an option under heavy blaze. Heavy blades. Technological adventuring gear. Let's zip down past this.
Yeah.
And we'll go down to
cybernetics.
Cybernetics. There we go. So this is a pretty simple system where basically you pay your money and you get the part, and you can get enhancements to the part. But having the limb or something gives you kind of a basic special ability. These are usually in the form of stunts that you can use.
How cool. What a great concept.
Yeah. So again, this is not like, this is not to do like Ghost in the Shell, what is human cybernetics, right?
Yeah.
This is more, it's more about the aesthetics.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Right. So the rules are a little simpler, right? So you see that, once you get, for example, a cybernetic arm, right, you can...
Real quick, hold on 1 second. I want to answer some of the questions from a developer perspective, but Jay Gray asks, how restrictive are stunts, by the way? Are we intended to be able to come up with new stunts if we want?
Are you talking about generally an age?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, generally we leave it to the GM to create new stunts on the fly. But, it really depends on how collaborative your table is, right? If you are in an environment where I have an idea for a stunt and you lay it out, that's comfortable for your group, then go ahead and do it.
Yeah, Jay Gray, right? as a GM and as an age
creator, we use fixed stunts for a bunch of things, but not really we don't use it a lot for niches, and we don't use it necessarily as a mechanic of exclusivity, like you have this special thing other people don't. We have a couple of exceptions and things like this. But generally, when we have those stunts are slightly better than stunts available to all characters. The general guideline that we use is you generally generally an advanced stunt like a class stunt or a stunt that you only get by having a particular item. It'll either have something that no other stunt can really do, or it'll be worth about 1 point more.
Got it.
Than the price to activate it.
Awesome. Let me check something here real quick. Oh, one thing we didn't. I'll maybe I'll ask it off the air just in case we want to keep that a surprise. So talk a little bit more about arm enhancements, cybernetics, and mutations. So I can grow another ear on the forehead, which I've always wanted. Okay, cool. Eye enhancements, cyber legs. This is really fun.
Yeah. And here we go to robots. The way robots work is they provide you with additional stunts, because the ironclad rule for these robots is that they will not hurt people for you intentionally.
Okay. I see.
Right? They are very strictly programmed, and in the post-apocalyptic environment, nobody knows how to reprogram them, to avoid hurting people. But you can kind of trick them, and you can get other benefits. So if you scroll down, you'll see we have like general types of robots. But so for example, if we go up to so stop here. So the labor robot, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can't make it like, it could probably rip the heads off your enemies, but it can't do that because its programming strictly disallows it. However, if you scroll down a little to the next page, to the top of the next page, you can see that you can trick it into not thinking that your opponent is a person.
I see.
Like,
I like that.
So hold this object might be something as simple as like putting a box on somebody's head and telling your robot to hold on to this box. Right?
I like it.
Or you can tell it to basically do the equivalent of like swing its arms around without any concern about who's in the way.
Fun. That's very cool.
Now, you can also use it to carry your stuff around, right? Like, in addition to the stunts, these can all do practical things. It's just that, in action scenes and such, they're not another body to throw at the enemy in the usual sense.
Okay, and so now the general makeup of these robots, like what are they appearing just as you would as you sort of the GM would hope that they would appear, and just presume that they had okay.
You choose what they look like. We have general descriptions, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly. Let's see. This is what are the performing bots? So those are like task bots, right? Like do the laundry bots.
No, they entertain.
Oh, they were truly entertaining bots. Okay, yeah, got you.
Yeah,
very cool.
With the care bot, which is the babysitter bot.
Interesting. Crowd pleaser. Look at me. Okay, I'm following. That's fun.
Yeah.
Messenger. Okay, robot stunts in their face. Half remembered messages.
Yeah.
That's cool. Flybots, sure, of course they'd have flying robots. And I'm presuming that Amazon's responsible for the fall of society for the.
Well,
yeah,
that's interesting because we have an adventure about that for Modern Age.
Oh, really?
Feral hogs.
That's right.
In fact, you can maybe use Technofantasy as like the far future of feral hogs.
I like it.
And then you could come up with like. Evolved hogkin.
Sure.
Characters.
I'm all for it. Let's see.
Hogs, the swine shall inherit the earth.
That's true. It is.
That's too close to reality, though.
It really is. Jeez, let's not go there. Hey,
Oh,
everybody
wow.
in chat. What's really great about this is that so far the people that have mentioned sort of their little slice of nostalgia, it's been covered by this. It's just it just fits in a nice space in between all of those. To kind of bridge the delta between your piece of that you remember and enjoy and love, and how you can redeem it, and play it here. This is really great.
So you see, we also have rules for vehicles, including everything from your robot horse to your flying car. Had to have a robot horse because I love Vampire Hunter D.
I'm not. Yeah, that's what that passed me by. But where is
Vampire Hunter D is a great inspiration for this, by the way.
Well, that looks rad.
Yeah.
Did I go past Robot Horse?
Well, no, it's just a bunch of vehicle listings.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's knowing that it's there is enough. So this has some special rules. The first, if you go down, is tinkering, which is inventing and modifying technology. So basically, these are rules for making gadgets.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Qualities and success thresholds. Love it.
The modern age companion has like a previous iteration of this, but we've tightened up the rules a bit here.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Now you say tightened up. Is it kind of expanding it, or is it?
It's more making it. It's communicating them a little more clearly, right?
Okay. All right. Excellent.
And dealing with some weird edge case stuff. Like, it's still something that requires a lot of GM minding. Like, this is to create possibilities, not to impose game balance for you, really.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So
generally you can use these. Like, if you work slowly, you can make a sustained new invention. If you work fast, you can make something you can use a couple of times and then falls apart.
Got it.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah. So
I see. Frangible.
Yeah.
Negative tinkering qualities. So those are those. I see. You're essentially.
It's if you decide to make things fast. If you decide to try and make a thing faster than is perhaps advisable, then generally you end up with some of these negative qualities. But you can also build them in intentionally if you plan to be
have a trap or
whoever. Yeah.
I like that. All right, ugly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
It's all about fit in the future.
Yeah, I'm imagining.
It's all about fit.
Okay,
this is a bunch of like detailed system wonkery. So you can
exactly what our fans love to hear and talk about. 100%.
Well, it's there. We put care into it. It's just not exciting to stream.
Yeah,
like, these modifiers.
I think we make a mistake to assume that it's boring to them, and it's not. They truly do love to kind of get into it
you'll love to see.
Yeah, so friends,
that glimpse, glimpse that tells you that if you do something fast, it's +3 to the target number.
Friends, if you've got questions about kind of these mechanics, do feel free to ask them here as you do on other streams. On the reg. What are montages?
That's to narrate it by having a cinematic type montage.
I dig it.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is a bunch of vehicle listings.
Cool. Rushed or emergency. I see what you're saying. Okay, great. Speed and velocity. Am I headed in a certain direction? You're
headed in a certain direction. You can just get past this, right? I mean, it's going to be. Okay. I know they think it's interesting. You know what it is? It's because I read this stuff hundreds of times, so I'm just like, this'll this old dense stunt.
Yeah, yeah. No, people definitely they like to kind of get a sense of the design sensibilities and
Yeah. Well, I
some of that
mean,
kinds of stuff.
if you've seen other vehicle rules, this is going to be very familiar. Like
Okay.
a lot of the changes are iterative. More than we dumped this whole new system.
I do like the anti-vehicle
Right.
stunt. That's kind of fun.
Right. And similarly, for Techno Magic, what we did is we created, revised, and expanded technological arcana that were some of which were originally seen in Modern Age, but unlike in Modern Age, these have a larger number of spells. All right, because our standard for fantasy from Fantasy Age Second Edition onward is to have like 4 novice, 2 expert, and 2 master spells instead of the 4 that we originally used to do.
I do love some radioactive sorcery.
Oh yeah, and that's you can also use the Radiant Arcana that's in Cthulhu Awakens.
Hey, very cool. I love it. I love it. Well, listen. So one of the things that so this is going to be available on Tuesday. And
that's a spell where you can fold a machine up and put it in a bag. Like
I love that. Okay, all right. I thought you meant like as a way of getting rid of it, or essentially. But this is not an offensive.
Well, it's probably hard to drive if you fold it up, but
probably harder to drive if you're in it while it's folding up.
Yes,
which is what I was thinking of. But this is, how many pages is this? It's looks like it was 63 pages.
I think it's 60. I think it's like in the 64 page range.
Yeah, excellent. 9 a.m. on Tuesday is when actually midnight on Tuesday. How do you say that? It'll be 12:50. No, it'll be I'm not sure how to really say.
Are you talking about like the first minute of Tuesday,
or first minute of Tuesday? Yeah.
So it would be 12:01 a.m.
12:01 a.m.
or midnight.
Yeah. That'll be over at DriveThruRPG, and we'll provide some links here for folks, and we'll make sure we get a lot of promo out. And there are friends of ours that are on our promo list, not the least of which are folks that are in the Atomic Think Tank, which is at atomicthinktank.com. There are some folks there that will be getting an early review copy. And, I'm hoping that we can talk Malcolm into maybe doing a little panel discussion on this, or ask folks that have some questions. And folks may want to know how this interacts with the Age Creators Lines, and all kinds of good stuff like that. I'll harass him off the air. But Malcolm, thank you so much for talking about this. Is there anything you want to share that is that we just cannot go away without sharing it?
Oh, geez. I'm not sure. Like, I occasionally drop things about Swords of the Shadow Planet, but I don't think I'm going to bother right now, except to note that I'm halfway through going through the editor's notes on that. So it is proceeding forward nicely. Yeah. We've also had some movement on some stuff for Modern Age that I'm excited about, but I don't think I can really talk about it that much yet.
Yeah.
And for Fantasy Age, we have a couple of things in the pipe. Lost Island of the Pirate Queen is kind of slowly, wending its way toward completion. Yes, for Techno Fantasy too, we have an adventure to support it that will come out not long after it comes out, and the next issue of Engine will also have a Techno Fantasy adventure. So
nice.
We do have support coming from it for it. Engine number 2 is text complete and is kind of going through the process. A bunch of things. And
yeah, you've been a busy little developer. You got a lot of things coming down the pike.
Mm-hmm. And I am working on a secret project for something of ours that is licensed right now.
Oh, secret project. I like the sound of that. Folks in chat, let me see here. Oh, Jay Gray, I didn't know that you were sick, and did I see earlier you have some kind of did you say a hernia or something? Sorry to hear that, friend, and I hope that you're
Oh,
on the mend. Yes, please.
and we're doing another historical supplement. It's just that it has kind of been in limbo. We actually got a couple of medieval scholars to help us work on it.
Ooh,
And it's basically dig into into the 14th century, into
okay,
the late 14th century, because, and this is getting very nerdy, I guess,
that's
the late 14th
why.
century is essentially the period that inspired fantasy role playing, right?
Okay,
Fantasy role playing, like when it was fantasy wargaming, basically the default was around the 14th century with fantasy elements layered on top.
I
So
see.
um but there has been 50 years of broken telephones since. So the idea is to go back and go, well, this is the inspiration for so much of fantasy RPGs, but what distinctive elements does it have that maybe we've forgotten? So
Right, like the Black
unfortunately,
Death
there's been
or
a bunch of, yeah.
the famine or no.
Well, the plague is the big thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a matter of finding the time to get it all polished, because we're doing a bunch of stuff at once right now. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Dave Blog says, did you kidnap Rob for that, Malcolm? Jay Gray says, Malcolm, is this not something I've been wanting, holding out on me? That's nice. I'm glad that I'm glad that we've got some good stuff coming out for folks and they're excited about it. And again, this will, Technofantasy will come out on Tuesday, 12:01. And, yeah, pick it up and we'll provide links and things, for you folks. Now, if you want to continue the conversation, do make sure that you are a member of the Atomic Think Tank. There's a lot of age related goodness coming along. Like some people were saying, what about the age insiders? Well, we're developing that right this very second. The fundamentals of it, because we want to have a couple nice pieces for people who, when they first join up. And that means I also want to start the clock at the perfect time, because I don't want to have folks kind of hanging out and just sort of waiting for something to kick off. We want to have some of our ducks in a row. So that means that folks who backed the Expanse Transport Union Edition, they're going to get 3 free months. And it's basically kind of it'll be a lengthy workshop of fun things about that we can kind of provide about the age, the adventure game engine, and it's the games that it powers. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. We've had a lot of great conversations about it. Malcolm, you'll have a big role in it as well, because we're going to be doing Malcolm Monday, where you'll be every evening.
are we?
I'm just kidding, but it is going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun, and there will be great opportunities to engage with Malcolm and the rest of the developers, and it's coming very soon. I would anticipate. I would imagine as a present under the tree. How about that? Think about it that way. So yeah, I think that's about it, my friend. Anything else for the good of the order?
No, I guess that's it. See, I would love to talk about what's coming out for engine number 3, but
You want to give a
can't
little
do that right now.
Yeah, okay. We'll cork it for now. But I'm excited about that too, and I think we want to do kind of because of the nature of it. I think we want to blow
it's
it
a
out into
kind
a
of
big event.
it's going to involve an experiment that will influence our direction moving forward.
Dun, dun, dun. That's right. Jay Gray says December 25th, Age Insider program launch confirmed. That's right. Check your stockings, friends. Okay. Malcolm, thank you as always. A real pleasure. I know that it pains you feel like you're going over the boring stuff, but that's the stuff people love. And you're a great man for hanging out with us and doing that. And we'll have you back again. And of course, I think we'll be seeing some more information about Technofantasy and congrats on all the good stuff coming. I mean, it's really a lot of hard work coming to fruition right now.
Well, thank you for getting the word out.
Absolutely, my pleasure. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week. And I don't think we've got anything cooking this Friday, but we do have something on Monday. Mutants and Masterminds Monday. Come join us 2 p.m. Pacific right here in this very same place. We just kind of hose out the skin suits and replace the set, and voila, heroes you have.
There is one more thing.
Oh, yes, please.
One of the things we didn't get a chance to look through in Technofantasy is there's a ton of new monsters, and I know GMs are especially hungry for monsters. So
yeah, excellent. There you go. Monsters for you.
Yeah.
And to quote a Duke, yeah, thanks for sticking by, and make sure you're hanging out in the tank and hang out at the grad. There's a lot of good stuff going on at the in the Discord. And we love that space as well. Okay, everyone. Ta-ta.
Cheers.